What's up, guys? Welcome to the Linecheck podcast. It's been a while. Today in the studio, I have Brad of Ritual Dining. What's up?
How's it going?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to finally meet you.
So Brad is actually the first guest on our podcast that I do not know, and he reached out to us on Instagram about wanting to be on the podcast, and he drove here from Laguna Beach, and now he's in the chair in the studio, and
That's right.
we're going to do this podcast.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. How's your day?
It's been great. Winding down / getting ready to wind back up for next week. So,
Yeah, tomorrow's Monday.
Tomorrow's Monday. Tomorrow's a big day for me. So yeah.
What's your week looking like?
So I'm starting off with an interview, actually, a new client. So I guess a new client that I'm trying to capture.
Cool.
Something in Laguna, and so I got to put on my best hat, and it's gonna be a phone interview, so it'll be quick and easy.
Perfect.
So yeah.
So what is ritual dining?
So ritual dining,
People, like,
yeah,
understand what your client
absolutely,
thinks.
absolutely.
Something else.
Yes. So I'm a part-time stripper now.
Yeah.
No, so I in 2019 I got kind of fed up with the restaurant hotel game. Not really fed up, just kind of burnt out, wanting to try something different, mainly in the private sector. Just was kind of curious about it. I started doing like little private events, kind of like we talked about, just little backyard things for local people that wanted to throw, birthday party or something random.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started with that, and then I was in Oregon when I did that, and then I moved back down to Southern California. I was up there for about 3 years, and I came back down and started to do the same thing. It picked up because of the pandemic. So it was 2020, no one could leave. Everyone was desperate for some type of food and beverage experience. So I brought it to them, and that's mainly what I did. And then I started linking up with big names and started to do like in-home private chefing, where you kind of go buy the ingredients and, show up into these, mansions for these billionaires. And so it's been fun. It's been fun. A totally different world than the restaurant and hotel game, but fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. A lot of
So you've
fun.
been doing this for like 4 years?
Yeah, since the end of 2019, basically. Yeah,
Wow,
so
that's cool.
it's been cool.
Yeah, I've had this like whole private chef thing like pop up in my mind from like other people. I'm like, hey, I'm a private chef now. I'm a private chef. I'm like, dang, that sounds kind of tight.
Yep.
Like, should I do that too? I was like,
It's pretty cool.
how old are you?
I'm 36, almost 37. Yeah, I'll be 37 in a month. So
I just turned 32.
Oh, cool.
So like, I guess I'm like around the same age.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Literally. It's like, okay, I'm gonna get out of here. No, it was one of those things where I wanted to try it. I didn't know. I had no idea.
Yeah.
No clue. And when you start doing the private thing, okay, you know how to cook, you have your own hours. The lifestyle is amazing. My lifestyle is just, completely different than what it was when I was in the restaurant hotel. Completely different. And now it's like I get someone's credit card and I get to spend whatever money I want on whatever ingredients I want, which just makes it more fun. It makes it more, interesting. It drives you to be as creative as you can, and it gives you that creativity instead of being like staking to one brick and mortar place, going back and forth, always same place, same menu. Even if you do seasonally, it's still pretty similar. So yeah.
Dang, you feel that.
Yeah.
How long have you been cooking for, I'm assuming?
So I started cooking junior year. So I got kicked out of a private school. I went there for 2 years, and then I went to the public school, and they had culinary and like advanced culinary. And I was like, I'm like, okay, well, of course I'm because I needed to fulfill some type of credit, whatever. So I was like, well, I'm obviously going to take the easiest one, which is like home ec or something, along those lines. So I picked that, and it was sweet. It was just, boiling pasta, rolling pasta, simple stuff. And then that teacher brought us over and did some catering. We went and did little small catering things, small basic stuff. And then I went to culinary school 2005, 2 weeks out of high school, and I've just been cooking since. Wow. Yeah, so bouncing around. I wouldn't spend any more than like a year, 2 years at a place. Yeah. It was just more fun for me. I didn't really, it wasn't about like a career and, until I realized what I really wanted to do, which was cook, but, do it at a different capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the same as me too. Like I was like going to school for music, and then I just like needed a job out of high school, and I just like worked. The only job I got was
Oh, that's wild.
a job in a kitchen, like washing dishes, and then, you know, I kind of just like stayed there, and then I went to culinary school because like you can do this as like a career, but
that's cool.
I mean, it's not an easy career.
It's why did we pick it? I say it to myself every time when someone's like, "Oh yeah, they made that $1 million deal or this or that," and I'm like, I picked the wrong profession because I made garbage. When I got out, it was like $8 an hour. You know, I was like, Jesus Christ. Yeah. So, but it's worth it now. All those years of doing all that stuff, and I even jumped into the front of the house a little bit and started like managing and learning that side because I went back to the same Le Cordon Bleu and did hospitality management. So I did the two, just because I wanted to learn the business. I didn't want to I knew I didn't want to be just like a cook in a sense, right? You know, the whole time, just like, you know, opening a restaurant. I want to learn how to run the business and deal with people and you know, and it's fun. The camaraderie with working with people too. It's like, I miss that a lot in the private sector. So yeah.
Have you been a private chef or anyone famous? You don't have to.
No, I've signed some NDAs, but I'm allowed to discuss who. It's weird. It's anything public. So yeah, Jimmy Buffett was one of my main clients. Rest in peace. God bless that man. That was actually, I didn't expect that to be as big of a hit to me, because it's not like I was, you know, friends with him in a sense, right? I was his private chef, but he's exactly like, you know, like they say, he's amazing. He's super chill and just such a cool person. And his family too, just all awesome people. And it's just like one of those things where, yeah, it's amazing where this takes you, right? You know, cooking for anyone from Jay-Z, Beyonce, Leonardo DiCaprio, all kinds of big, huge names, you know, Sir Paul McCartney. It's like you don't get numb to it, but it's like, I just want to be around normal people, right? I know you do too. So it's like, as long as they're cool, then it's cool. So, and I've only really been around cool people. I haven't really seen anyone that's, at least in front of me, that's been like, oh, well, that's, you know, so it's been good experiences so far. So
dang, that's super cool.
Yeah.
I was like on Instagram mindlessly scrolling at nighttime, and one of the reels popped up of Jimmy Buffett, and he was it was from Jurassic Park. I don't know which one it was. And he was like, it was like a cameo, and then like the dinosaurs thrashing the whole place, but he like runs, but he has two margaritas, and he's like, so he doesn't like,
so awesome.
Mess up his
That's
time.
like, oh God. I love that. I love that. Did you ever, well, what did you listen to? I know you went to school for music. What did you listen to growing up?
A lot of stuff. I mean, I love the Beatles.
Sweet.
Like classic rock.
Awesome.
I have very eclectic taste, like
me too.
World music, electronic, soul.
Cool.
Pretty much everything, classical.
Everything. I like almost everything. Yeah.
It's like, it just depends on like what my mood is at the time.
Cool. And in the kitchen, you gotta have music.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I would go crazy if like someone we couldn't play music in a kitchen. Have you ever worked anywhere you can't play music?
Most of the places I work with. I was just actually somewhere Friday night, and it was like, I had it on really low because the principal was out of town, and it was one of those things where I could like play it like softly because they had guests, like, you know, and visiting, but they were like away, and I knew I could kind of like, because sometimes, you know, you need it. It's because
like sing along.
Yeah, you know? Absolutely. So I definitely miss it, doing it more often, but being able to like sometimes prep, or certain times where I can do it, you know, I get away with it, but I miss that. Just blaring it. Yeah. Blaring it even. I loved just
me too.
Cranking it.
It's the same thing. Like if I would have to explain this to anybody that's not a cook or whatever, chef, that listening to music in the kitchen is equivalent to listening to music while you work out.
Absolutely.
Like, do you
100%
want to work out and not listen to music?
100%.
It's horrible.
That's
the same for us too.
It's so true. And I think that's a big part of it, is I've been very, you know, I've tried to find that other spark, because you are in a private, you're not in a restaurant, you're not with your buddies, you know, whipping each other and that kind of, and I miss it. It's all, you know, I love that part, but you start to kind of, I don't want to say grow up, because it's like, I'm not going to ever grow up, but it's like, you start to like, you know, find that like passion of working in solace and kind of being, you know, like, then you work with servers and do all that stuff. And
yeah. Giggles and little pranks and all that.
Exactly. I miss that. Man.
So I'm sure you listen to our podcast, and we always talk about this. So tell us your favorite in the weed story.
Yes.
Sure, you got a lot of them.
Yes. There are. I was thinking about this, whatever this was, a day or two ago, and it's, of course, very tough because do I want to go into the restaurant hotel game? Do I want to pull from the private sector? So one kind of crazy one recently, which was a good one. I was taking over for a chef. He was trying to spend some time with his family, and he needed another chef to come in. And we have a really good network of close chefs that we can kind of pull from and help each other out and do that kind of stuff. And I was at this place, and just amazing property, really great people. But I started to make some breakfast because it was, it's usually a full day thing. And this one happened to be kind of I knew it was a brunch kind of leading into possibly late lunch, but then a dinner. So I knew it was going to be there all day. So I kind of got there, got all my stuff, got ready, started to kind of prep for just like a light lunch for 2 people. And it turns out they had 4 people showing up extra from their family. It was, 2 kids, 2 of their kids, adult kids, and 2 other people. And so I just kind of panicked. I was like, oh my God, they expect to eat within, a certain amount of time. And I'm already like done. I'm prepped. I have, a small little fruit platter and all these great little things set up. And my heart just sank. Like, I'm just like, well, this is it. If I screw this up, I'm going to ruin this, this gig, and they're not going to want to hire me back here. So I just turned on the burners. I whipped out the waffle machine. I made a whole bunch of extra waffles. I had to make a bigger fruit platter. I had to do, omelets. I had to do a frittata. I had to throw, bacon in the oven real quick, and just all those things to just, get to produce and then make it look good. You have to plate it, and I'm by myself. I pulled the housekeeper, ran downstairs. I was like, just come up here and help me just grab some plates and help me bring it out. And so it worked out, but it was just one of those things where it could have maybe been better, but it's like, it was probably the most stress I've had in being a private chef, hands down. Just you're in a billionaire's house, and it's just, he expects a certain thing. You're making a certain amount of money.
Yeah. I feel that stress too, because it's like, this is your job security. It's like, this is it. It's not like you're like cooking for a guest, and then they're just like,
leave a bad review maybe, or
you still got a job after that. Like, no, this is like,
this could be it.
This is your livelihood.
Yeah.
For this one.
And they don't say anything. It's like, you don't know until you leave the house, and they're like, oh, well, I never heard back from them again. Or, you reach out and they're like, yeah, they didn't like it. I was talking to one of the servers the other night, and he was like, yeah, there's this crazy chef who comes in, and she has great food, really great food, but she is just a nightmare. She's just making all kinds of noise, just dishes everywhere. Some chefs don't clean. They'll make they do what's called a day rate. So you make a day rate, could be anywhere from $350 to $1,000 a day. And so you are expected to do X, Y, and Z. A good amount of chefs don't want to do certain things, and they won't. So one of these chefs doesn't do his dishes. The maid or the housekeepers or any of the porters or whoever they hire. And so this lady was the same, but she was very dirty and messy about it. She wasn't like, she would just kind of throw wrappers in the sink and do things where it was like
sabotage.
As if oh my gosh, it was as if she didn't care. And so, he was just telling me stories of the things she does. And it's like, I always love hearing that, because like, I love the fact that I feel like I was raised right. I know I was raised right. And I know that when someone's paying you to do something, you do it right, just like anything, right? You want to do something, you do it right. And so part of doing it right is being respectful and being clean. And if you're a chef, if you don't know how to be clean, I don't understand how you got to that position anyway. So
like, do you have integrity?
Yeah.
It's like number one thing.
Absolutely. Even if, and I said, I'm like, my food is great. It could probably be better by myself for bigger parties. When I have help, it's obviously great. But if you got to figure out, you got to make sure you're clean. You got to do all these things. If you don't have a dishwasher to back up, and then be able to just do all these things and toss everything. And you got to figure out how to plug all those pieces in. And it's tough, but it's
hard to work alone.
Yeah. But the paychecks are worth it. So,
I just, when I do like the private events or like, pop-ups,
Yeah.
I'm usually like prepping by myself and cooking by myself, and it's like you have to really clean as you go, because then you leave a trail of breadcrumbs.
Absolutely.
And it's like we don't have like multiple items of like a third pan like hanging around.
Exactly.
Working like
where you can just pull and reset.
It's like, no, I need this mixing bowl.
I need it. Damn it. Yeah. Why did I? Yeah. And I just the amount, and it's funny because sometimes I'll be trying to move quick, and I don't have time to, obviously wash everything. And so sometimes it'll build up and I feel embarrassed, because it's like anytime the owner or whoever, walks in, you want it to be spotless.
Yeah, exactly.
Their kitchen is usually amazing, so they want it to keep it that way. And if they see that, you're just like, oh my God, they think I know what I'm doing here. And when I was at one of the kitchens, one of the gentlemen was like, he's like, I'm so glad that you work clean. He's like, the last chef was a nightmare. And he's like, showing me pictures. And I was just like, pots and pans everywhere. He utilized the entire, that's a big kitchen. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I understand if you're not organized and if you don't, but it's like, there was just stuff everywhere. And this is a nice place where you have kind of backups in a sense. Like there's multiple things, and it's big enough, and you have time, and it's taught me different things. It's a different style of cooking, right? You're not, you don't have constant, maybe on the range, you don't have constant pans on the flame being ready to throw down, to saute, or you don't have a grill always running, or, you have to mind like, okay, I don't want to smoke the house out. Where am I going to grill? Like, am I going to grill this here? Is this, and they usually have a good enough, hood, but it's so much fun. But the private thing, so I've talked a lot about private, clients, but it originally started as like supper club, almost like creative outlet. Cause I was with Marriott, and it was like, I was stuck. I was managing a bistro, catering and banquets on site, but it was like you were, Marriott tells you exactly what to do. You have a little bit cool. You have a little wiggle room in like little parts, but it's crazy. There's books. There's people who come in to try to teach me like, okay, we have trainers to come in, and they're going to hold your hand and walk you through. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I let my other cooks do it, and I tell them like, I'm not going to fucking do that. So I like spent a lot of time like walking. I'm like, I'm not doing that shit. Like, I'm not going to have someone who doesn't know how to cook really, who probably didn't go to culinary school, teach me, or like to, I have the book. We're going to make this a good bistro. Don't worry. And you got to follow the guidelines. You got to stick with, whatever. But so yeah, creative outlet, supper club. And then it turned into a business where I have my website. I'm on like different, platforms, almost like, like Thumbtack and places that you can go find a chef and things like that. So if you search like private chef in Southern California, a couple of the companies I'm on, the threads will pop up and you can go there. But, it's like, okay, I need catering, or, I need a cooking class, or I've done so many things like 100 people, 200 people, 300 people. And then you have friends in the industry that come help you serve, and then you develop other relationships with other people. And it's just so much more fun and lucrative and free. And it's like, what the fuck was I doing in the restaurant? And don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
So much fun. I learned everything. You need to go through the restaurant. You need to go through the hotel, or whatever. You need that hospitality, that's where you learn a lot of it. And the camaraderie, you'll learn that stuff too. That's huge.
That's awesome. So where do you see yourself like going?
Man, I have said this for years now. I'm not going back to the restaurant hotel unless I own something, which is still super exciting. Like, I would love to own a restaurant. Do I want to make 8% profit and do all that work? Probably fulfilled, maybe, if I don't go crazy. But man, it's like, okay, how can I cook? What if you lose it all? If you lose it all? How about this? How about a farm somewhere? And I want to do it around here, where you have like a B&B where you're serving guests straight from there, or like you have a little like outhouse where you can serve 15 people and you're doing, it's like, you can still do the hospitality thing and do the things you do in the restaurant and hotel, but you can do it in a private way. But it's regulations and, right? That's the thing that's standing in everyone's way.
Those are the worst.
It's just brutal. Out in the field, don't they do those big events where they go? I mean, that would be so cool.
I'm doing one on
Sweets. Amazing. Sweets. Amazing.
Cooking.
Cool. And that's something I love. I love outdoor cooking. And I mean, you being from here, and oh my God, just being outdoors.
Yeah, I did. I cooked on the Weiser Farm, family farms, and
Their potatoes are
and I was just
unreal.
I was like, wow, like, look at this.
How can you beat
I
that?
was like, I'll cook on a farm any day.
Do you want to be stuck in
Yeah,
four
it's like,
walls?
yeah,
And
no,
no,
exactly.
no.
That's what I always, if I ever have a restaurant, or if I'm ever rich to own a restaurant and build it out, I would put windows instead of a kitchen.
Yes,
So you can
100%.
see outside and not just be in a dark dungeon.
100%. I'll break even as long as I can have what I want. If I had like money and right, you know, God, that's the dream. So I don't know. I mean, that could develop into, I got to be realistic, right? So it's like, okay, find a private client that I'm working full time for. I've been doing, it's either like a client that I work for a period of time and then they go on vacation or they move or they, you know, because I don't want to go to the Hamptons. It would be cool, but I don't want to do that. I want to be here in Southern California. So it's like, I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm just going to probably do the long-term thing and stay away from the restaurant for now.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Maybe I will do it one day.
You should, man. And if you ever want, I would love to have you come and we could, you know, do a dinner, split the profit or whatever. You find a way to give you a little inside scoop. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. Even more exposure to different fun things.
Yeah. You were telling me earlier that Adam Sandler.
Oh my gosh.
You're a fan. I'm also a fan.
Huge fan.
And then someone I know was private chefing for Adam Sandler.
Oh, that would be
And I was like, dang, that's tight. I guess they don't, not anymore, but still, like,
there's a lot of rotation usually, but yeah, oh man.
Someone else that was on this podcast was telling me they're like private chefing for these like other people that I forgot the names or whatever.
So cool.
But I was like, damn, it's pretty cool. I was like,
it's a cool lifestyle because you do meet cool people, and not just that, but like jump on a yacht for a day and cook for them for, you know, and it's like there's just so many cool opportunities. Fly with them to Hawaii for a week. All these it's again. I miss, you know, I talk about with my buddy Joe all the time. We miss the camaraderie, miss being on the line, sweating, just getting your ass kicked, all that thing. I mean, it's all fun. But you know what's more fun? You know, 2-3 times the paycheck and way more freedom. And like on a Saturday night, I can actually go out to dinner with my girlfriend because it's like I didn't need to have, you know, it's like I got all my work out of the way. You know, it's like I don't need to work every day.
sounds like a grown-up job.
Yeah, I know, right? That's why I'm like, I'm a grown up now, right? Like I'm a real person because it's true. Being in the restaurant, you feel like a kid.
Yeah.
You know, we're eating cereal all the time because we can't take time to
Sitting on our, like, I'm sure this is like wrong terminology, but I mean, we call it Asian squat, where you like squat and you're on the line and then you eat something.
It's wild.
I do that all the time.
It's wild. A squat, and you know our knees are fucked because of that.
Yeah, I've always been interested too in like cooking for like professional athletes and like meal prepping for them or
with like specific diets.
Like I'm super into fitness and
oh, cool.
Like,
yeah, you look pretty well built there.
Yeah, and it's like eating right. So that's definitely something I always thought about doing too.
Most clients are, I mean, my last client was gluten-free, sugar-free, dairy-free, no onion, no garlic. Then no onion, garlic. You're just insane.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not get crazy here. But it's a lot of clients, Mediterranean diet, more, you know, just a lot more healthy stuff, a lot more clean. Lately, I've been cooking some vegan, you know, people have been reaching out to me for vegan menus. And I'm like, yeah. And so I had clients like, wow, you're the only chef who can cook me like a good vegan meal. I'm like, it's really not that hard. It's really easy. You got to really suck at your job. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you ever had vegetables just cooked right, maybe, you know, with like some seasoning.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So that's the fun part too, is I'll meet people, and not to, I'm very humble. But I've spent a lot of time cooking, and I'm a pretty damn good cook. But I have people that, you know, billionaires, people that are like world travelers, Michelin dining, you know, Michelin star dining folks, and they're like, this is like some of the best steak I've ever had, or this is, you know, one of the best dishes I've had in like a really long time. And it just, whether it's the atmosphere and it's, you know, me maybe being there, you know, I don't know, whatever it is, but like it's fun. It's instead of being like, okay, you know, putting all the food up in the window and your server's taking all the glory, you know, or whatever the situation may be. It's way more fulfilling for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So it was a pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Dude, thanks so much for having me, man. This has been great.
First time DMer, Instagrammer.
Great.
Coming on.
I love it.
Podcast.
I'm persistent.
I know there's a lot of you that have reached out to us too, but they don't live in California, so this is what we were able to do this one because he lives close by.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. It's been awesome. Good to meet you, and I look forward to creating a
maybe we'll have you in the podcast later on and see what other stories you got for us.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Well, thanks so much.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Linecheck today.
That's awesome.